Hey, it's Drew Bennett from Big Damn Kid, and I have issue number 14 of the Transformers. And look, we have a new Autobot. There's Hoist. So, in this issue, we have what looks like Hoist at a concert, and boy, that guy at the concert looks really familiar, but we can't say exactly who we're saying he is. We'll just make up a name. I think his name is Brick Springhorn. I wonder who that could be. Anyway, this issue is titled Rock and Roll Out, and we see Jetfire becoming an Autobot. And this is a special right that the Autobot is called the Right of the Autobrand. And in this, Jetfire is becoming an Autobot, and we find out that Optimus has given him life with the creation matrix, and Jetfire says, I offer you my thanks and services, and Optimus says, he only helped him achieve his potential. That way, he can serve as an Autobot if he wants to. It's at his own, leisure of serving as an Autobot. And Optimus serves only as the leader as long as the Autobots want him to be the leader. Okay, so that's what he tells him here, and Jetfire then joins the ranks. And part of the ceremony is that all of the Autobots donate their fuels, and they mix their fuels together. So he's got all the fuel in this kind of like magic lamp sort of thing, and they mix their fuels together, and therefore they are now all Autobot brothers. Speaking of the Autobot brothers, his Autobot brethren, although a lot of them have been incapacitated, some by Optimus Prime's body, not his mind, in the last issue, or actually 2 issues ago. The last issue is that weird one where we find Megatron is in gun form, and Joey Bag of Donuts is taking him around all over the place. Whatever. We're still in the arc. We find that there are 5 Autobots that had let their consciousness be transferred into specific crystals. So 5 of them had their consciousness transferred into crystals, and so that they could come back when the time is needed, if they needed more guys to help against the Decepticons, which obviously they're going to. And so these 5 characters are Grapple, Hoist, Smokescreen, and Skids and Tracks. So you can see them there on the bottom, all those guys. So Optimus revives them, gives them, and they've got new bodies, and they decide that what they're going to do here is Bumblebee is going to take 4 of the guys out to show them around the Earth, give them kind of lessons on how to act on the Earth. And meanwhile, Grapple is an architect, so Optimus needs his help. And so Grapple stays there with Optimus while the rest of the guys transform and roll out with Bumblebee. And as they go through their drive, well, actually before that, we're going to cut over and see what's going on with the Decepticons and GB Blackrock. What's happening there? Well, the Decepticons still control GB's oil rig. They don't have the control over the aerospace plant anymore. They control the oil rig. And because they control the oil rig, GB is not happy. He wants to find out what's going on, and he wants to get his oil rig back. So we got this happening here. And we see the return of Shockwave. He wasn't gone too long. And Shockwave comes and brings a power siphon. I think that's what it's called. Let's see. Yeah, he brings a power siphon, and it allows him to convert the oil into energon cubes. So this is the first time they start talking about energon cubes, and we see our first energon cubes here in this issue. Meanwhile, they siphon off all the energy that they can super quick, and they take off. They take the power siphon with them, and the Navy that's outside of the rig, tries firing at them. That doesn't happen. Doesn't help. Doesn't hurt. They can't hit them at all. Meanwhile, Skywarp takes one of the energon cubes at Shockwave's command, throws it, and Shockwave blasts it. A powerful light appears and blinds basically all of the Navy, and so they can't mount an attack even if they tried. Cut back to the Autobots that are out there on their field trip with Bumblebee. So we've got those 4 Autobots with Bumblebee, and what they've found is, in order to blend in more, they've actually found a way to cover their Autobot insignia, and Ratchet has created little pop-up dummies to drive the cars. So in these panels here, these pop-up dummies, they will drive the car, and that way they can blend in more. But before they get too far, they need to fuel up. So they go to one of the BlackRock garages, BlackRock fuel places, and they fuel up. They made a deal with GB BlackRock so that they could get fuel whenever they needed. So they have a BlackRock corporate card, and they can hand that corporate card. This is how they hand the corporate card. And even these guys are like, that guy must have been double jointed. Why are they just getting gasoline? Well, Ratchet installed fuel converters inside. Was it Ratchet or Wheeljack? Well, one of them put fuel converters inside each of the Autobots so that they could just take regular gasoline, convert it to Autobot fuel, which is, I guess, basically Energon. And meanwhile, while they're there, we hear different music going on, and we hear song lyrics like "Can't start a fire without a light," "Everywhere just dancing in the night," So we kind of have an idea of who Brick Springhorn really is supposed to be. The guys learn about this concert. Meanwhile, previously the Decepticons had said that they're going to go to some sonic event and collect the sonic energy from the event. So they're going to harness the sonic sounds from the concert and convert that into energon. They really should just work with the humans and come up with all these different ways to create energy instead of spending so much energy fighting with each other to get energy. It's a complete circle. The Autobots go to like a burger joint and they park there, and they don't realize that it's only for paying customers, so they get kicked out. And they're not really paying attention to the different signs. They're really starting to find their way around the human world still, even Bumblebee. We cut over to the U.S. Capitol. And at the U.S. Capitol, there is a guy who was on the Navy, on the naval ship, who we learned earlier, and I didn't say, talking with GB BlackRock. His name is Barnett, and he is part of government intelligence. And he's not a Navy guy. He's undercover there, and he's gathering intelligence on these robots. As part of, I think he works for a group called the III, Intelligence and Information Institute. And the III is trying to get more information on these robots. Let's go to a concert. So, the Autobots decide they're going to go to a concert. They go through the gates, the parking gate. They don't pay the fee. They get yelled at. So they park real quickly, and then they make their little mannequins disappear. And so the people chasing after them realize, where'd those guys go? We don't know. We can't find them. We could have towed them. They could tow them. And we cut over to the Brick Springhorn and the 10th Avenue Band. And they're singing Born in America. Hey, these crack me up, because I am from the 80s and, listen to a lot of Bruce Springsteen, so it's just funny. So the concert's going well. The Autobots are listening, they're digging it, they're enjoying the music. Skids particularly, he really likes the music. And Skids is one of those other characters that, really got into Earth, really enjoyed Earth. And so they're listening to the music, and suddenly it sounds weird, and the concert goer is like, what's going on? But the band is still playing. Well, what happened was the Decepticons snaked this wire over here, and it's siphoning all of the sonic waves, which it's really poorly placed. I would think they would do it some other way, but it's a comic book, so Hoist snaps the wire, and the sound comes back, and everybody's all excited, and they start singing again, and then the Decepticons bust out from the ground. You know, they come smashing out from the ground, and they fly off. The Autobots engage. There's a lot of explosions and stuff above this 80,000 person crowd, but yet nobody is, you know, getting debris falling on them or anything like that. Comic book. Anyway, Bumblebee falls down into the hole that they left, and he discovers Shockwave, and Shockwave with a whole mess of Energon cubes. And Shockwave takes off. Doesn't blast him. You know, he has the chance to blast Bumblebee to bits. He takes off, and he's going to blast the concert, but Bumblebee throws an Energon cube directly into Shockwave's the gun barrel, and Shockwave blows up that Energon cube, which then blinds the Decepticons, knocks them miles and miles away, and gives a light show to the people at the concert who'd have just such a great time. The Autobots transform, they roll out, they take off, they meet up with Optimus Prime and the rest of the Autobots. Optimus Prime had asked them not to engage, ordered them not to engage, but I think, you know, they had to do it to save, you know, the people and what was happening there. They investigated, they did what they could, and yeah. So, and you know, in the end, it's very cheesy. Bumblebee says that the show must go on. It's an Earth idiom that he learned. And so, yeah, we get to see Brick Springhorn and the 10th Avenue Band. And we get 5 new Autobots, so that's really cool. Plus, Jetfire technically becomes an Autobot, so you get 6 new Autobots in this issue, which is awesome. You know, having more guys, and it explains where they came from. They don't just kind of like show up like they did in the cartoon. So it explains, hey, we had these 5 guys in crystal form. I know it's, you know, convenient that happened, but they at least explain it. And some of my favorite characters were Trax and Hoist and Skids. You know, those guys were some of my favorite ones. Smokescreen, he was just another, you know, Bluestreak and Prowl. They were all basically the same to me. And, you know, it's nice having those. And Grapple, I liked Grapple, which, if you look at the first cartoon, there is Grapple, but he's a different color. And, actually, is he a different color? There's the Grapple figure character is there, but they call him Hauler, and they never mention him again. Never. You know, he was called Hauler. He never gets mentioned again. But we'll find out what Grapple is going to do in a further issue. Anyway, this is Drew Bennett from Big Damn Kid. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook as Big Damn Kid. You can find me at BigDamnKid.com. You can always find me here every day. Please subscribe, leave me a comment below, and thanks for watching.